Excellent. Well, today, this is a pretty short session, but there's a lot of things here to talk about. But I like to talk about how LibreTexts works, not just as a platform for students to learn, but also for faculty and teams to build partnerships, to further their own research, and also to work on collaborations to make things better for everyone across the country. And we've done a lot of work along those lines, as you saw from Delmar's talk, I believe it was yesterday afternoon, about the history of LibreTexts and how we've been funded throughout the years. And so I just wanted to give a little bit of a overhaul there and get your brain thinking about this before we go into the next serendipity session, the speed networking event. As you've seen this map many times, this is the current group of the LibreNet Consortium. We have a lot of institutions that have joined, a number of statewide consortiums have joined. The blue dots there are all the people who have published with us, so we're actively trying to get those states or those areas to come and be part of the LibreNet Consortium. Here in my home state of Michigan, it's mostly blue. There should, just as of last month, we have a red one there at Grand Rapids Community College, who just joined our LibreNet Consortium and will add to this page shortly. I met somebody, one of you is from Grand Rapids inside of the audience, so that was exciting as well. So this is a big group of people, a lot of people that care about lowering the cost of education for students and about sharing resources that are helpful and high quality. Just to give an example of what campuses are there, 115 more campuses have joined from the California community colleges. The California State University has also joined in the last year. The Consortium of Academic and Research Libraries in Illinois, Carly, has joined. That was actually, they've been here for a little while longer than that. And Michelle Lee is here from that consortium and will be at her booth during the community hour for sure. And then we have KBOR, which is the Kansas Board of Regents, which is 6 campuses, and they're expanding that impact there in their state. And the Florida Virtual Campus, which also has a booth in our area there. It's a very large group of people, a lot of community that we can have access to if we are intentional about trying to use this community. And even if you're not part of the LibreNet, then that's still part of the LibreTexts community. So really, the community that is the LibreNet is everybody that is involved in our program. You'll see some pictures here of people who've given talks in the past. Some of us here, you see Christina was chatting on Monday and Tuesday. You've seen Delmar a few times. This is Jennifer. This is Armida that I told you to go watch her video. Heather is giving some sessions and she'll be here this afternoon. So really, there's a really good community aspect here. But there's some things that we can help each other out with. So for instance, LibreTexts team knows who is part of our LibreNet, who's using our tools, what resources they have, who's been publishing things, who's been signing up for workshops, who's doing monthly webinars. We know what ZTC programs are actively using LibreTexts. We know what authoring projects are currently going on. We've got what people are working on grant collaborations, and we can provide with appropriate IRB and agreements, student data for research, activity of students. We can require books that must be logged in. We've done that in the past. We don't do it very often because it's a pain in the neck for students to have to log in to read their textbook. But if you have a research project that involves that, we've worked on publishing some of those things in the past as well. There's not that much research going on in efficacy of OER because, as I showed in our earlier talk this week, OER is good. It can have a good quality resource that a faculty member prefers to use is a good resource. But individual campuses do have some robust research questions that they might be answering as part of a faculty's research. They might be trying to implement evidence-based pedagogy improvements on their campus, or they have some framework-driven ideas for institutional or systemic change that they're working on. And all of these things are we're in support of as being a platform to make sure not just that things are free, but that they're good and that they're helping students. So just some publications. The ones on the right are actually all ones with Delmar as one of the co-authors in research. Some other ones are on the left. These are just some Google Scholar searches for LibreTexts and the fact that we do exist in the scholarly record as a platform, and we've been studied before in how people are engaging in things. In this past year alone, we did put in that Department of Education grant. I don't remember how much money it was for, but I know that there was at least up to $7 million available for funding through that grant call. And we have a bunch of different awards through NSF that we've either been awarded or we've tried and resubmitted with different institutions. We've worked obviously with UC Davis, where Delmar is located. We have colleagues at Duke and San Bernardino, USF, University of Georgia. countless other ones. Delmar can feel free to pop in some examples in the chat. Find the glossary for campus codes. I'm not sure about that one, but follow up with Delmar, maybe be able to answer that one, or go visit one of our tables. Some other things we've done is working with a grant that was from the National Science Foundation, but we were not co-recipients of, but we were a contracted dissemination metric. So in other words, they were paying to use some advanced features of LibreTexts as part of their grant. I mentioned the chemistry laboratory curriculum earlier. This is a picture of the faculty who, in words of one of their members, they're off at chemistry professors camp in St. Mary's College of Maryland, where they're learning to do lots of fun, cool, different things, like making inquiry-based labs and working with their students to get feedback into how labs are built. So these are all faculty-student collaborations. They actually used ADAPT to do their in-person assessments this year, so they could collect data on that assessment. And then they also are disseminating all their materials on our library. In addition, so that's all some grant work that we've done in the past. Some things that we're working on right now that might be interesting to you is we do have a whole new Academy Online that is in its final stages of testing. We want to make sure the logins work and all of that. This will be a much more robust and certification-based Academy Online versus what we have up there right now. So you can see here's the courses that I'm taking. I've completed this one, how long it took, how much I've progressed through this, my experience points, and the courses that are available. I finished this one. I've completed this one. I'm working on this one. And this one here, the blue check means this one will result in a certification. So I can get LibreTexts certified badges for these things. So those are things that you could go and put on your resume, or you can put on your CV for things that you're certified in. I'm a certified ADAPT course builder kind of a thing. We do also, so this also has like ranks and badges, those are just fun, right? You guys are all doing the leaderboard, so those are just fun things to do, but they do result in actual certifications that come from LibreTexts to say, yes, you've gone through these trainings. And if you want to ask, and someone wants to ask you, yeah, we can come to us and we can verify that, yes, this person has completed certain trainings. So that's something that's launching. And that's part of this whole ecosystem of tools that are available to partner with institutions. So the Academy Online is what we're building. The very first course that is going to be available for people is the course on how to build your own course. So if you are interested in building some sort of resource for your either a grant that you're working on or some training that you want, Delmar mentioned that we're building the mastering licensing one currently. Those can result in certifications that we're building along the way, publishing certifications, much like a lot of other aspects out there. It's important to be able to tell people that you have some sort of team or some institution out there that can tell you that this training met certain criteria by this group of people that are experts in that area. And after talking to Delmar in that last section, I think you can tell that he has an awful lot of expertise in what Creative Commons can really be and how to use that in a very important way. So that example I had of the CLC as well for the Connections platform, in addition to what you saw before, they also use the Connections forum with a super secret hidden tag. So you can see here that they are asking questions about ADAPT, about chemistry, about general use of LibreTexts, but they also have the CLC tag. So you can't see what they're talking about, just their cohort can talk about things with each other and reply to each other. And it's quite active. I'm getting notices every single day while they're actively engaging. So all of these sorts of things, if you want to do open pedagogy on campus, how are you going to see if that's working? You can do research into those things, and all those things can be in a partnership with LibreTexts to make sure that you've got the tools that you need to way in any way you want. So the goal here is, yes, we want to build community and empower those OER champions. That's the theme of this week, building community and empowering OER champions across the country. And I put on a little Benny with the forge there because we are working on building these things and helping you to forge a better path there for the future in as many different ways as possible. There's a lot of words that have been thrown around. I'm going to ask the group chat real quick. If you are a professor on your campus and you want to do something OER, either create some ancillary materials, or you want to create a book, or you want to do some remix of a book, or you want to write some homework questions, what avenues for, let's say, compensation come for what is available for your faculty at that institution?